Hi there, my name's Athena. I'm a cannabis educator and I'm all about making your prescription practical. I'm here to teach not only the science behind the plant and why it works differently for each of us, but also to share some of my favorite recipes and applications that you can do in your own home with the cultivars that are right for you, thereby giving you the chance to support your own endocannabinoid system in a way that fits your unique lifestyle, which in turn allows you the many freedoms that come from a fully supported ECS. So welcome to my kitchen, and let's get cooking.
Okay, so today I am making grilled cheese and tomato soup for my family. There's only 3 of us home today, and we have a no edible user, a high dose user, and a high dose edibles user, but I'm not going to infuse that particular sandwich because that's me, and I have already infused my tea. So I am well and good and covered for my meds. So I don't have to put in absolutely everything. I'm going to be using 4 types of cheese, depending on which person and what they like. So I'll go into that when it comes time to assemble the sandwiches. But first off, you start with the soup so that the soup can simmer while you butter your bread and whatnot. So we're going to take a pot. I'm using 2 cans of tomato soup. Use whichever brand you prefer. Oh, and make sure you wipe down the cans because you never know where they were or how they were stored during shipping and sales and such. And I did that before we started watching. Whoop! Making a mess. Let's use this spatula. Okay. I know I could make soup from scratch, but you know what? I'm busy. Life happens. Got work to do. Now, most soup directions are going to tell you it's 1-to-1, as in 1 can of soup to 1 can of water or milk or whatever that makes you happy. And I know a lot of people will use water for their tomato soup, but I like it creamy and I like it thick. So not only am I going to be using just milk for mine, I'm also only going to be using about 3/4 of a can of milk per can of soup. So we are going to fill up each one of these cans about 3/4 of the way. Oh, it's a little more than 3/4, so I'll make this one a little lighter. There we go. And we're going to pour this in a little bit at a time. And then, you know what, I'm going to get my whisk. And the reason we're doing this step instead of putting it in all at once and dumping is because I want it to be creamy soup. If you do not do this step where you do a little bit of the milk or a little bit of the water and whisk it till it's smooth, then you end up with those weird clumps and bumps in your condensed soup. So if you want those, just dump it in. And if you don't, don't. But I don't, so I'm doing this. I imagine it looks kind of cool. And we're whipping 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 and we're whipping. And now we've gotten it fairly low. We're going to whisk it around inside the can. The other reason why we put the milk in the can instead of measuring in a measuring cup is so that we can get the last dregs of the soup from the can. And we're whipping 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 and we're whipping. And once we get it to the point where it's actually nicely, it's thin enough that it's its own texture. It's more like a gravy thickness. At that point, we can probably just dump in the rest of the milk. But I'm still going to split it into 2 halves so that I have the opportunity to clean that can out proper. Okay. It's not difficult, and it's not fancy, but it will be yummy. And the infusion comes at the end because not everybody who's going to eat this soup is going to want weed in it. So give that a whisk, get all the little clumps left of the soup. Waste not, want not. Put that in. So we're going to set that down and set it aside. And we are going to take this, I'm going to slap a lid on it because tomatoes tend to spit. And we're going to put this on the burner. See, I have my lovely burner set up here. I'm going to slide that back to the side. We're going to turn it on and put it over low heat. And just let it do its thing for a few minutes while we move on we move on to assembling our bread. So I got a big old stack of bread, got a plate for putting things on, and I've got a whole bunch of cheese. Okay, let's see. We're going to start with the boys. So, minion number 1 prefers his to be non-infused, but with stronger flavor. So we're going to butter what's going to be the outside of his sandwich. Okay, with just regular butter. Set that down, flip that over, make sure you're getting the right sides of the butter so that your sandwich lines up, because I'm fussy like that. And then we put the butter side to the butter side so we don't make a mess. And then we're going to give him a slice of old cheddar, a little sprinkle of bacon bits. And again, you can make your own bacon bits. You can even infuse your bacon bits. But today I feel lazy, so we're just using pre-made bacon bits. Then we're putting on a slice of Monterey Jack. And I want it to be cute, so I'm going to angle it a little bit. And that's his sandwich number 1. Now we're going to do it again. Okay, it doesn't want to whip, so shove the butter to the side. This is just a stacking plate. Okay. Always have clean hands when you're doing stuff, because when you're touching your food, you gotta not cross-contaminate. But if your butter's too firm to whip, or to spread nicely, just give it a few swishes. I've seen some people put it through a garlic press, or grate it, or do all kinds of stuff to soften it quickly, but this was already just below room temperature. It just needs to, spread. Come on. Now, he didn't actually ask for bacon bits, so I think on his second one, I am not going to add bacon bits, and then he can tell me for future reference which one he prefers. I half expect him to hoot his head out of his bedroom and go, "Give me the bacon! Why is that even a question?" But, if you don't ask, or you don't answer when I ask, how am I supposed to know? So you get what you get. Set there. And again, he gets a cheddar and a Monterey Jack. So that's cheddar and Monterey Jack for him. And then we're going to switch out to our high dose weed butter right here, which is nice and whipped and ready to go. And we're going to make the next minion stuff. So again, on the outside of the sandwich, we're going to give it a nice smooth spread over. And we're not worrying about dosage for this particular minion because he is an excessively high dose user. And they can more than handle what I can get out of them. So they are going to be just fine, no matter how much of the infused butter I put on. In fact, they're going to prefer more rather than less, because it's going to reduce their need for consumption later on. And then we're going to drop that there. And he likes his mozzarella. So we're going to do mozzarella. And he did ask for bacon bits. So we're going to spread that out and do another mozzarella. And then we're going to do it again for his other sandwich, because he wanted 2 sandwiches. Ooh, I should stir that soup. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, high infusion matzo sandwich number 2. Now usually my wheat butter isn't quite this dark, but this one is a CBN butter, which means that it was cooking for longer and it was used with AVB, already vaped bud. And that made it so that it's a more robust color. But it is nicely potent, and it's good for doing what we need it to do while being less psychoactive, which is important because, having things sparkly when you want them to be sparkly is great, but not having them sparkly when you need to be not sparkly is also great. There we go. Look at that, nice and even. So that goes there. And then, see, that's the problem with putting on so many toppings when you're stacking them like this. But I'm done with that so I can get out of the way. I'm gonna go slice of matzah, bacon bits, another slice of matzah. I'm gonna tuck these over to the side a little bit so there's room for my own plate. And I do want regular butter, but yeah, that's still pretty stiff, so give me a second to whip that up. Okay, I personally am gonna have some provolone for my cheese because it was on sale and that makes me happy. We're gonna put some bacon on one and I think no bacon on the other, because sometimes bacon is great and other times it's overwhelming. So that's sandwich number 1. Oh, and we're getting close. Let's turn on the fry pan. We're going to put it on 7 so it's nice and crispified. Goes there. We're just going to ignore all the crumbs that I got in my butter. Okay. We're just going to ignore that. And then this one is just cheese and more cheese. And what I really love about this setup here is that even though I have 3 different sandwiches with 3 different combos on the same plate, I know which one is which because of the way that I laid out the cheese and the shape of the cheese. So none of this is needed anymore, but I will want that cutting board for after the sandwiches grill. And we're going to put this here so that we can pop the sandwiches on here. Oh, that's starting to get warm. We'll pop the sandwiches on here for cutting. I'll get a knife out for cutting the sandwiches. Got that there. Let's start with the matzah. So we pick up the top piece of bread. Oh, wait. That should be the last one cooked because that's the one covered in weed. Silly me. So we're going to start with my oldest minions preferences, which is the sharper flavors of the Monterey Jack and the cheddar. Step that there. Let's turn up the soup a little bit. Because, oh yeah, that's still very... Oh yeah, that's straight up cold. So we're letting this sizzle, and we're letting that heat up. And I'm going to need... Oh, I need a ladle. There we go. Now I have a ladle. That'll help. Let's see, how we doing? Oh, that's pretty. Hey now. Don't be a brute. It's because I have people watching, don't you know? No. Bacon bits stay in the sandwich, okay? Stay. Close enough. But we're going to let both sides melt a little bit, and then hopefully that'll chop the bacon bits. I'll flip it back over and get a prettier brown on it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, so that's there, that's there. Let's start setting up my serving. So I'm coming around the back end on this side of things. And I'm setting up 3 plates with 3 bowls. Oh, that's nice to see them moving around like that. Oh, it was beeping because I picked it up for a second. They don't like it when you do that. Oh. Where's my weed? Oh my goodness. See? The soup is starting to heat up, so it's turning a darker red. It's definitely something that we want. Okay. Just gotta collect those up to be used, because I don't know if it's something a lot of people do, but when I was growing up, my mom used to put a pat of butter in my tomato soup whenever I didn't feel good, because it helped cool down my soup faster so that I could eat it. And it just tastes good, and it's homey and familiar to me. So I'm put pat of butter in my soup before we eat it. So you don't have to do that, but I'm going to do that. So I've got 2 little pats of butter with some of those crumbs in there, and that's not a big deal to me because I'm, of course, going to dip my grilled cheese in my soup. And it's a little weird to be fussy about the crumbs that come from my sandwich when it's the same bread that it came from here. It was already cooked and everything. You know what? You can come out. You're in my way. Look at it being all melty. Hey there. That's bacon. Yes. Oh, and I said this in my previous cooking live streams. My hands have so many calluses. I cook with my hands constantly. I've been doing it since I was very small. This is normal for me, but just because I touch something doesn't mean that it's safe for you to touch something. Okay, so next up we're gonna do our mozzarella because I want so these ones were no weed. These ones are lots of weed. And these ones have like almost no weed in them because I'm gonna grill this one first and then have a little transfer put on. But that's just because that's part of who I am as a person. So that one's going in. That one's going in. That one's going in. And then these guys, getting a nice slice. And I'm going to rotate and I'm going to cut them into wedges so that they're easier for dunking. So, and I think I'm going to pop them in like this. And isn't that pretty? And then we're just going to remember that this plate, I'm just going to remember. Joke of the century. No, we're just going to remember that this is the first one I cooked, so it's going on the farthest to the right side of my counter. And I know who that belongs to now. Okay, wiping up my hands. Let's check in on the soup. Oh, I can feel a little bit of crust forming at the bottom from the milk warming up with the tomatoes, and that's good, because I'm getting to it before it can actually get, didded. And we're starting to get a more consistent, robust red throughout the soup, so I know it's getting to a temperature that we're going to enjoy soon. But it is not there yet. So back in it goes. How hot is it? Oh, that's pretty toast. Get over there. No mess. No mess. Oh, that smells good. Oh, that smells good. It's almost, like it's robust and it's herby, and that's great, but it's also almost just a little bit floral. And that's got to be some linalool or bisabool or something that was left over in the weed itself when I was doing my infusion. But it just, oh, that smells tasty. That smells good. I'm getting excited. This is gonna be good food. And you know what? I think I might. I don't know. This is plenty enough food, but I'm seriously considering cutting up a mango or something to eat after. Or even before. Boost the appetite, get the myrcene in my system. Enjoy my evening. It's got a little bit of that anti-inflammatory, goofy, giddy quality. My youngest minion pointed out last night that there's supposed to be a bunch of updates on his favorite animes today. So we should be able to have something interesting to watch while we eat. Okay. Now this is only cooking. What about you? No, that was looking pretty toasty. So I'm going to move this one to the side for a minute. Flap that back over. Push it into the side because the very tip where it was a little bit soft wasn't getting any toasting. Stop your running away. Stop your running away. See, now that's a nice toasted. So that one can go down. We're going to pop this one back in and get that color evened out. Ooh, it smells good. Oh, that smells good. Okay. I'm going to cut this one. So this one is mozzarella and bacon bits. It's going nicely. I'm just feeling fidgety, so I'm going to keep poking at my soup. I love making my food's almost ready. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, honey. I hope you enjoy it. There we go. See, now that's a pretty sandwich. Okay. Now, because this has happened at each time where the one sandwich got, fully toasted and the other one didn't, I'm just going to do these sandwiches one at a time rather than fight with it. So those ones are cut, and we're going to assemble plate number 2 for sandwiches. It's going to be a great sandwich. It's going to do some lovely dunking. No falling, sir. I know you're not trying to, but you're really successful at it, and it still worries me, so just know. get that back there. That's coming up. It's getting nice and steamy. Not quite to boiling yet though, because we don't need it to truly be boiling. We just need it to be hot because this is condensed soup. It's already been cooked. And flip. Oh, that's pretty. A little off center, but it's pretty. You know, it's not very fancy, but it is fast and it is easy and it's going to make everybody so happy. Okay, so there's provolone sandwich number 1. And now, last but not least, in goes this sandwich. This can get out of the way. But like I said, I'm really, really good at making a mess. So maybe I should take a few seconds here to clean up some of this here mess, huh? Oh shit! You know, there is this word in French, and I'm not sure what it is specifically, but it literally means I can't look away right now. I'm working so I'm like urgently needed somewhere because I have milk on the boil. Because milk, like I put in the soup, promptly went from being not a big thing to boiling over like a crazy. But that's what happens. You look away and your soup goes crazy. But on the plus side, we know it's nice and hot. And I don't think it's burnt. It just got real foamy. Closest thing we've had to burnt so far is this bit on my sandwich, and that's not that dark. That's fine. Huh. And I gotta say, I like that burner. That stove's pretty awesome. That was super easy to clean up. Okay. So get a quick wipe down on the outside of my pot. Put it back over here. And I'm betting this sandwich is, yep, done. I'm a little sad that mine got a little bit on the dark side, but that is okay. I suppose I'll have to make cookies. I'm on the dark side, gotta get some cookies in the mix. I've been promising the young one snickerdoodles for a while, so I should probably get on it. Okay. So we're gonna set that over there. This is turned off and cooling off. So we're going to unplug it, and we're going to move it out of the way very carefully. I am going to assemble my plate. I absolutely love how you can see that bacon sitting sandwiched in between the cheese. It is just downright pretty. So we're going to set this on the stove for a moment while I rearrange some things. So we have 3 different sandwiches. Well, actually there's more than 3 types of sandwiches here technically, but we have 3 plates with 3 different types of filling. So this one here is mild to no weed. This one here is absolutely no weed. And this one here is lots of weed. Here is our nice pot of soup. You see how it's turned into this lovely, robust, orangish red. And then we just pour. And I'm using the whisk here to balance the back so it can't over pour. Remember, the soup itself is not infused yet, because not everybody, like this plate here, wants infused soup. So that's done there. And then we have regular butter pat. Come up, in you go. A regular butter pat. And then a can of butter pat. And there you have it. Tomato soup and grilled cheese for me and my minions. And just to show how nummy it is, I'm just going to give it a quick little Oh, that is good. Oh, that is good. Well, that's really good. Okay, so anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. I'm going to deliver the food to the kids, and then I'm going to maybe hang out and watch some anime with the minions. Have a great Sunday, guys.